Guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be working on my 2011 Yamaha FZ8. So I'm currently at home. This is my garage back at my apartment. I've lived here for like 5 years, so got a lot of memories out in this garage. I am soon going to be moving out of here though, so not too many more memories to be made in this garage. So kind of wanted to take the chance to do some work on the bike back at home. When I painted this bike white, because originally it was black, all the 2011 FZ8s were painted black. When I painted it white, I did all the disassembly and reassembly in this garage. So I kind of wanted to do the same thing again. And what I'm thinking is I want to ditch the white, and I think I'm going to paint this bike red. Mazda has an absolutely gorgeous red. So we might potentially be painting the bike that color. But for now, I just want to start disassembling everything. Bikes are super easy to work on. I brought home very few rudimentary tools, some clip removers, some needle nose, some wire cutters, little ratchets, bunch of these, a little pry bar, and like a 10 mil, an 8 mil, a 12 mil. And we should pretty much be able to get everything off of this bike. So when it comes to disassembly, I'm gonna start with the easy stuff like the front fender, this front fascia. There's a fascia on the gas tank here that I'm gonna take off. We'll pop off the rear seat, and this rear fairing piece comes off pretty easily. And honestly, other than those pieces and the gas tank, there's really not a whole lot else to take off. That is the nice thing with having a naked bike, is you don't have all these side fairing pieces and a big front fairing to deal with. I have taken apart R6s and 636s and stuff like that before, and they are kind of annoying and finicky. Definitely well worth the look though. This naked bike is just kind of happens to be what I went for as a 17-year-old kid. And you know, it's a great bike. Now I'm 23, I still love riding it, still puts a smile on my face. But I think it's time to mature the look of this bike a little bit. So that's why we're gonna clean it up, give it a refresh, and make it look brand new. So we're gonna start taking off all these easy parts. We got the bike all taken apart. There's really not much left of it. So in taking it apart, you know, it's always a good idea to pop open your air box while you got the tank off. See them beautiful ITBs. But if you look under here, air filter definitely could use replaced. So I'm gonna get a new air filter for it while I've got it all taken apart. I also ditched all of the, it had neon lights on it. I ditched all that, and not really gonna save me much weight, but that was a lot of clutter. All of that was stuffed in here. So now we've got no more stuff in here. So that's really nice. We're back to stock there. So now that we're all done with the disassembly, I'm gonna take all of the parts back to the shop and start prepping them for paint. After they're painted, I'll bring all of them back here and reassemble the bike in the garage at home. Should be a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm really leaning towards that Mazda red color, so we'll see if I change my mind. I'd also consider like a really nice darker blue. I'd also consider like a dark British racing green. So I'm not really sure. I think all three of the options will look really sick on the bike. So we'll see what I decide. But stay tuned to the end of the video if you want to see what she looks like all finished. I'm also going to take the taillight, sand this down and re-clear it. It's really dirty right now, but it also just does not have, like, I feel like a lot of these from OEM even just aren't very glossy. So I'm gonna sand it down, put some high gloss clear on it, and it'll look crystal clear. I think that'll make it look a lot better. So yeah, stay tuned. Alrighty guys, we're getting some more done here on the FZ8. Our new fairings did arrive from Germany, and the fit and finish on these are really good. Obviously the finish isn't that great because they're just raw fiberglass. They still need some body work and painting, obviously. But the pieces themselves, I mean, the way they fit onto the bike, they fit really, really good. So let's take a look here. We do have this side of the bike mounted up, and I think it looks pretty sweet. So this kit did not include any hardware, so I had to go figure out the hardware myself, had to figure out the mounting situation myself. So basically what we've got going on is I'm using just some raw aluminum bar. Okay, so I'm gonna have a bolt going up in there. There's a random unused bolt hole there, and then I've got that coming down to the fairing right here. For this front one, we are actually using the header, because there's the little support piece holding the header together, and there's a few little holes through there, so I'm able to put a small bolt through there and secure this. These go in through the radiator little caps, and yeah, it honestly, it fits really well. It definitely is going to completely change the whole look of the bike, so I'm really excited to continue getting all this stuff fit and finished and looking good. So we're going to continue working on our little brackets and stuff. My plan is to get everything fitting as good as I can. Once I'm happy with the fitment, then I'm going to take everything back off the bike, do all the sanding, do all the prep work, make sure everything looks perfect, and then we'll start painting. So yeah, that's just a little update. Stay tuned. By the end of this video, this bike is going to be completely transformed. And just so you guys know, this video will probably, by the time I'm done doing the bike, it's probably going to be like a month of me kind of working on it here and there. I've been working on it for about a week now, and it's at this point, so everything I've done so far was the quick and easy stuff. Now, like, getting everything fitting perfectly, since we're adding like basically a whole like body kit to the motorcycle, it is going to be a little bit of work trying to get everything massaged and fitting perfectly, but once we do, this thing will hopefully look OEM, and you won't even be able to tell that this is an aftermarket kit. All fitting good. What we're gonna go ahead and do is get all of them in primer. So we went ahead and sanded all these with 320 grit, and now we're just gonna go ahead and give them a nice coat of primer, just to show us any little funky spots that might need sanded out still, and then they will be ready for paint. So let's get some primer on these. Alrighty guys, and here are the parts after being primed. As you can see, they look way, way better now. We're a whole lot closer to getting some paint on these bad boys. Yeah, the big fairings look sick. Looks kind of like a jet, if I do say so myself. There are a few little things now that it's primed that we can go around and fix, like little nick there, little nick there. I noticed quite a lot of pinholes here, just some little air bubbles in the resin when they were making these pieces. So we'll go around, and now that we can very easily see all those little pinholes, we're going to go around and fill all of them. And that's the main reason why we want to prime these parts. You know, these raw fiberglass parts, they look really, really cool, but you know, don't be surprised to see stuff like this all over them. And honestly, these are not that bad. I have seen way, way worse. So yeah, a little bit of pinholes there. So not a big deal. That's why we primed them, so that way we can easily identify all this stuff and get it taken care of before we paint it. Because once it's painted and you see that, it's not really much you can do about it. So we're painting this thing a nice candy red. It's a Mazda color actually. And we've got everything all jigged up and hung and ready to go. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead, mix up our sealer, and we're gonna do one coat of sealer. The color that we're doing is a tri-stage, so we're gonna do 2 coats of the base layer, 2 coats of the tinted clear layer, and then we're gonna do 2 to 3 coats of clear coat over everything, and that's gonna finish it off for us. We're not painting in the paint booth today. There's a Chevelle currently hiding out in there. So we're painting out here. I've done what I can. I've got the floor nice and wet. The parts are super clean. Got this curtain closed, and there's no one here. No one's been making any dust in the shop for quite a few hours now, so I'll let her rip.
Rewind, come again.
Guys, so we are back in my home garage, and we've got the FZ8 all painted and all reassembled. It looks quite a lot better than it did before. These rear pieces here that I painted gloss black look awesome. You can still see the ring right here for where the Yamaha logo goes. I am gonna get a Yamaha logo to put back on there. We've got the dry carbon looking tank grip. These pieces before were just raw plastic. They're now sanded down and painted gloss black. Looks sweet. But yeah, the final product of this bike definitely came out pretty killer. The red with the gold forks and the gold levers looks killer. The red anodizing here on the pegs just looks really sweet. It is honestly a really close match to the color of the bike, so that looks killer. The taillight, it was always like foggy ever since I bought the bike. Well, I sanded it down and polished it and found that it actually had some like cheap nightshade tint on it. So once I sanded that off and polished it, she looks brand new. Underneath, looking killer. I still want to do a little bit more. I want to take this rear fender off and polish it, get it looking all nice and new. After I get my emblems and stuff, do a little bit of wet sanding and buffing just to really dial in the paint. I am going to put on a nice ceramic coat. But yeah, here the rear brake, just the linkage and everything on these looks sick. And just the red matching the bike now looks really killer. I'm so happy I didn't have to do anything to accommodate for these frame sliders that I already had on here. I was worried that they were gonna cover them, but they don't. They're not even close. So that's super nice. This really was not very hard to install. The one thing we gotta do still though is we've got to get our rear foot pegs on.